all conditioned things are impermanent. This is the teaching of the Nirvana Sutra. Nothing in this world stays the same. The moment we believe what we hold today will still be ours tomorrow, we plant the seed of our own suffering. The same is true for the bonds between people. Conditions come together and a relationship forms. Conditions shift, and that same relationship changes shape. This is not a tragedy. It is simply how the world works. The pain of separation from those we love is one of the 8 great sufferings. This is the teaching of the 4 Noble Truths. The Buddha himself named loving someone and then losing them as one of the sufferings. No human being can avoid feeling pain after a breakup. Does not mean you have failed at anything. It is simply what it means to be human. What matters is how we relate to that pain, whether it hardens into a wound or softens into wisdom. All conditioned things are like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, a shadow. This is the teaching of the Diamond Sutra. There is a man who runs a small guest house in the mountains. 5 years after the relationship ended, on quiet evenings with no guests, he still finds himself setting out 2 cups instead of 1. Every time he catches himself doing it, he has to remind himself only 1 cup is needed now, and something in him quietly breaks. Was he really missing that person, or was he missing the version of himself for whom 2 cups felt natural? The mind of the past cannot be grasped. The mind of the present cannot be grasped. The mind of the future cannot be grasped. This is the teaching of the Diamond Sutra. Often, what we miss is not a person, but a season of time. The days we walked together, the love we gave without holding back, the plans we never got to finish. When we look closely at what grief after a breakup really is, it is rarely one person's face. More often, it is a version of ourselves that existed beside that person. We know the past cannot be held, and still we keep reaching for it with our hands. Craving is the root of suffering. This is the teaching of the Samyutta Nikaya. There is a woman who works in accounting in a coastal city. For 3 years, she could not close one particular chapter of her life. In the beginning, he listened to everything she said, and she mistook that attention for stability. As time went on, he grew distant, but instead of facing the change, she searched for reasons to explain it away. When he went quiet, she told herself he was just busy. When he grew cold, she blamed herself instead. Even when he finally said plainly that his feelings had changed, she could not fully accept it. What held her in place was not him. It was her attachment to the attention he once gave her. Whoever sees me by my form or seeks me by my voice walks a path of delusion and will never see the truth. This is the teaching of the Diamond Sutra. We try to read someone's heart through their appearance, their tone, their habits, how often they text, the warmth in their voice, where their eyes go. We use these signs to measure how much we are loved, but signals always shift. A person's heart moves like weather, comes and goes. If we depend on signals alone, our own peace will rise and fall with them. Real love does not need constant proof. It is something we can stand steady in, even when everything around it is shifting. All things arise through conditions, and through conditions, they pass away. This is the teaching of the Samyutta Nikaya. There is a man who runs an academy in another city. For almost 20 years, he carried his first love quietly in a corner of his heart. When he ran into her again, by chance, at a reunion, he believed it must be fate and reached out again. But after a few meetings, he realized something. The person he had missed no longer existed. In 20 years, each of them had grown through countless other relationships into someone new. A bond, once formed, does not stay frozen in time. When the conditions change, the shape of the bond changes with them. Where should the mind rest? And how should it be brought to stillness? This question Subhuti once asked the Buddha in the Diamond Sutra. This question still applies to us today, standing in the middle of heartbreak. Where should the mind rest to find peace? The answer is not inside the other person's heart. It is inside our own. As long as we place our peace of mind in the hope that they will return, we will never find peace. The moment we hand the terms of our peace to someone else, we hand them our happiness as well. Take refuge in yourself. Take refuge in the truth. Let yourself be the light. Let the truth be the light. This is the teaching of the Nirvana Sutra. Before asking whether a karmic bond is keeping you from letting go, look deeply first into your own mind. What feels unfinished is rarely some mysterious fate. More often, it is a hope that has not yet faded, a longing that lingers, and a future we imagined for ourselves. Instead of waiting and blaming karma, we should let our own awareness be the light by which we see ourselves clearly. If you see that all forms are not truly forms, then you see the truth itself. This is the teaching of the Diamond Sutra. What we hold on to is rarely the person themselves. It is the image we built of them, their warmth when we first met, the future we imagined together, the way their face looked when we felt loved. Those images inevitably drift from reality over time if the other person has changed. But the old image still lives inside our mind. Then we are holding on to a form that no longer exists and suffering alone because of it. When we see that the form was never fixed to begin with, we can finally see both of us as we truly are now. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be free from suffering. This is the teaching of the Metta Sutta. Letting go is not closing the heart, it is widening it. To wish for the other person's peace, no matter where they are, instead of needing them by your side. To be happy, you shift toward wishing them well, whether together or apart. That is the moment love moves from attachment into loving kindness, and that widened heart eventually returns to yourself as well. All conditioned things are impermanent. All phenomena are without a fixed self. And in that truth, there is stillness. This is the teaching of the 3 marks of existence. A love that changed was not a lie. A bond that ended does not erase the meaning of the time you shared. What we need to learn is simply how to accept that nothing stays the same, to welcome a bond with an open heart when it arrives, and to release it without being shaken. When it fades, that is what it means. To refine the heart through love, all beings carry within them the nature of the Buddha. This is the teaching of the Nirvana Sutra. One last thing worth remembering. Your worth was never something someone else's love had to prove. There is already something unshaken within you. It does not need another person beside you to shine. It was always there. So in this moment, open the hand that is still holding on to what has already passed. When that hand opens, a new kind of peace can finally take its place.